Good afternoon, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this afternoon. The games are playing in the bottom half of the Scottish Premiership this afternoon. It's currently Aberdeen half time, Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0, St Mirren 0, Livingston 0. Now, the fact that St Mirren are. Who cares about St Mirren? We beat them in the last game. That's even better. Good afternoon, everyone in the chat. Also, I'm going to come off this screen now because the next fixtures are all wrong. Give me 2 seconds till I WhatsApp someone. Let's sort this out. The next fixture times are wrong. See if you sort that out for us. I've also come off that screen just now. Going to this one, which is a little bit easier. Get up, stand up. Get behind the team for 90 minutes. The Green Brigade have put out another thing this afternoon telling everyone about them meeting the fans. The North Curve Celtic put on their Twitter earlier today. 40 years ago, Celtic hit form at a crucial moment to set up a dramatic final day decider. Let's get it on the screen, in fact. Way easier when it's on the screen, isn't it? Rather than me just reading out the stuff. As league leaders Hearts bottle crashed, Celtic thrashed St Mirren 5-0 at Love Street to secure the league championship by goal difference. Facing similar circumstances today, we invoke that spirit of 86 to inspire the team and supporters alike to make their own history. We welcome the team at 3:30 today. We carry that passion into the stadium. A tifo in the North Curve, CSC banners around the stadium, and stand and back the team. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Wonder if you can tell me the lyrics of that song. Let's see if anybody notices it. It is good that they are doing it. You know, you are getting the people moaning, but I think it's fantastic that the Green Brigade are trying to make that little bit of a difference that has been missing for big parts of this season. And young kid keeper, he says it's going to be 4-0 to Celtic. Everyone, this afternoon. Can you feel it fuming in the air tonight? I don't know about that one. Robertson with a clinker there. I'm just going to jump through some of the comments. Just say good afternoon to everyone before we jump over to the Celtic Twitterati. Celtic social media. I tell you one thing, it looks like, I mean, imagine if Aberdeen overtake Dundee United in that position. I hate the split. We talk about it every year, you know, and this year they've got it as Group A and Group B. You know, they've now put it into groups, and Group A and Group B. It's crazy. It's a nonsense, isn't it? I mean, when you look at it, it is a nonsense, isn't it? Let me move this over here and let me just do this options. Yeah, I mean, Group A and Group B. What is that all about? It is just my. I mean, have we got enough for a quick poll? 10 minutes until the team is out. Let's do a quick poll. There are quite a few people on. I'll just get rid of this. Start a poll. Should Should we ditch the split in the SPFL? Quick poll before the team comes out. Come on, Celtic, give your loyal supporters a day to remember. Change that. 83% straight up says 87%. 87%. Yeah, should we ditch the split in the SPFL? Celtic fans having their vote, and 82%. 83%, 84%, 82%. It keeps on jumping up and down, but the majority seem to be in favour of getting rid of the split. Has it passed its sell-by date? Would be the big question, and I think personally it has. Before the team comes out, let's get some of your crazy predictions from you today. And who's first up? Was it Paul? I'll go back far enough. 2-1 or 3-1 is Celtic. I'm going to go for 3-0. This is Paradise Huddle. Michael says 5-0. I think we should have a bigger league. Yes, I definitely think we should have a bigger league, but turkeys won't vote for Christmas, as they say. But making it a bigger league to 16, 18 teams, yes. Going back to playing... Do you know what? Going back to playing each other twice a season would get rid of a lot of the nonsense that goes on with the clubs that are currently in the SPFL, especially for allocations. You know, playing each other twice, it does away with the whole bitterness of, oh, we want tickets for this, and you know, I just think it would it might improve the game. 4-0, Yang first goal scorer. Play each other twice, as Kevin just said it as well. The split is just daftness. Is that Angus is going for 2-0 Celtic. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. 4-1 Celtic. Absolutely think that we should make it a 20-team league, home and away games, and then we only play each other twice. Yeah, 5-1 Celtic. I wouldn't mind the split if one of the seventh gets more. Yeah, that happens regularly though. It happens on a regular basis that the teams in the bottom half of the split seem to get more points than whoever finishes in sixth position. And it's doing those teams out of cash, cold hard cash. It's as simple as that. Let's jump over to Celtic Park and see what they're saying. No pictures as yet. A picture of Celtic from afar. Oh, look at that. Celtic have put up a picture from earlier on. Way earlier on, because there's no buses in the car park. That must have been this morning that they took this picture, because there is, as you'll see here, there's no buses up in this area here. Yeah, I'll put me here. I'll get rid of that comment. Yeah, there's no buses right above my head here in the car park. So that must have been way early on this morning that picture was taken. That is a fantastic ground when you see it, isn't it? You know, the Celtic way and everything. It's just perfect, isn't it? Although, where the ticket office currently sits, should sit a hotel. Should sit a hotel. And that back area should also be a bus park as far as I'm concerned, but it's not. Celtic buses have to go to park because of the capacity of the Celtic buses. Who can remember when the flats was there? Who's old enough to remember all the flats where the motorway was and everything, the old road? It was dodgy as anything behind the flats, wasn't it? Unbelievable. Who calls it Parkers? KH1888. You should never be calling anything Parkers. On the screen. Jesus, honestly, nobody should be calling it Parkers ever. You should get banned if you call it Parkers. This modern nonsense that the young team come out with. Right, let's get back into the score lines before Celtic come out with the team. Nice blue skies over Scotland today. It's starting to clear up here. Half a day of rain every 4 months. Can't complain. Celtic Park in shadow. Oh, yeah, that was really early this morning. That picture was taken. You can tell. Look at this. Way early this morning. It's always good though when you. Well, maybe it wasn't actually, because I know that when you're sitting in 1-1-1, and then the sun comes round during the game, and then you're blinded and you can't see a thing. But then again, I've sat in I don't know if you see it. I had seats there, and I've also had seats up. I think where's my seat? Can't see it. Where's the door? I think it's about there. That was my old seat there. And then we currently have some seats right here. Still got these seats there. God, the joys. The joys. Anyway, 2-0 Celtic says we man Sham. 3-0 Celtic says Gary. 3-1 Celtic. 7-0. Woofed. Woofed. 3-0 at half time, and we will win 6-0. 4-1 Celtic. I think people are getting way too carried away with themselves here. But then again, we did it in 6 minutes. 4 goals in 6 minutes. 3-1 Celtic. 2-0 will do. 2-1, 4-1. I asked this again at the end of May. Yang hat-trick, 66-1. Michelle puts that on every week, just in case. 3-0 Celtic. 4-0 the Hoops. Come on, the Hoops boys. Give us a performance today. 3-0 Celtic. 4-1. 5-1 Celtic. The split was a bad idea from the start, says Paul. Yes, it was. It was a crazy, crazy decision. It makes Scottish football look absolutely ridiculous. 3-1 Celtic, 3-0 Celtic. Time is it? 2 minutes until the team comes out. If Kelechi plays, 25-1 is a good shout. I'd be sticking a fiver on that all day long if I was a betting man. 3-0 Celtic, 1-0 Celtic. 1-0 Celtic? I think there's more than one goal in this game today. When you look at the SPFL table, is it on this screen? No, it's not. It's giving you the head-to-head in previous games against Falkirk. The lineup will come up there once it's done. I can refresh that. Just give me the 2 seconds. Let's refresh this. Let's see if we get some updated times. There we go. Perfect. That's working a lot better. Thank you for that, mate. It's got the times, the correct time slot. 12 o'clock kickoffs, not 11 o'clock kickoffs. We will wait on the team coming up. We'll nip back to the screen whilst we do that. 4-0 Celtic. Some people don't want to stand up in case the social are watching and those are the LA's 3-0 Celtic. Only in Scotland. Only in Scotland. Just doing YouTube. Good afternoon. Can you show me the table if you don't mind? Let's just get the table up. The SPFL table as it stands today, and put me right down there. It's Hearts are at the top of the table, 70 points, goal difference of 30. Rangers are in 69 points, a goal difference of 35, and Celtic are in third position on 67 points with a goal difference of 24. I mean, Celtic would need to win every game at least. They've got to win every game. It doesn't matter about goal difference. You can win every game 1-0 and win the league. But you would want the team to put on a little bit of a performance. And that's where it really matters. I don't think that we're going to be top goal scorers this season somehow. Unless, you never know. We could win every game 6-2. That would be fantastic if we did. And that would be, what a time to hit top form. Winning 6-2 definitely gives us an advantage on some games over the next couple of weeks, especially when we get into May, especially May the 10th with no away fans. Will that give the team an advantage, or will it make the atmosphere boring? we've had these games before where the atmosphere is absolutely rubbish. Will the Celtic fans get up, stand up when it needs to be counted in the derby game if there is no away fans? That's a big question that the Celtic support would really need to answer. Oh shit, the team's out. What am I doing? See, that's you. I've got me blethering shite. God, where is the team? Come on, Celtic. The team is out. Jamesy Forrest, Sinisalo. I'm in the wrong place and everything. God, we're all over the place today. The team is out. Sinisalo, Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tierney at the back. McGregor, Engels, Benji Negri, James Forrest starts the game. Yang starts and Dyson Maida starts. But the big thing is Alistair Johnston's on the bench. Luke McCowan's on the bench and Iacho's on the bench. He went with Iniacho before the young lad himself. Oxley Chambers is on the bench. Tenetti's on the bench. Sriracha's on the bench. Hitati's on the bench. And Dane Murray. Hitati on the bench again for Celtic. Martin O'Neill definitely doesn't fancy Hitati, does he? I'm going to jump through to the end of the comments after that. It's an interesting one. Ralston, Trusty, Scales, Tierney. That's the back four that you would expect to play in this game. McGregor, Engels, and Benji Negrin. You would expect them to start. It's the best that we've got. You would say. Although the big one for me is Benji Negrin. He seems to have filtered out of games, hasn't he? He seems to just disappear in games. Especially last week. He wasn't as mobile as he was as mobile, but he was mobile hiding from the ball. It seemed to be. Forrest on the wing, Yang on the wing, and Dyson Maida. Jamesy Forrest knows how to get these things over the line. So you've got to say, when you look at the bench, I mean, you've got Alistair Johnson coming back. He'll get some game time, so young Ralston's there. Ross Doohan. The downside is there's a young Celtic player who I think deserves to be on the bench coming into this end of the season. And Colby Donovan, for what he's achieved over the course of this season and the amount of game time that he's got. Okay, it was because people were injured, but he still had to perform. And young Colby Donovan getting dismissed for the incoming Alistair Johnson, you can understand why, but you've got to feel for the young lad, and he knows it's a team game, and he knows that the more senior players will get the shout before he will. But I just hope he does get I hope he does get back on the pitch because he deserves it for the young lad. Dane Murray's on the pitch because we're lacking in defence. It's interesting that they've got him on the bench and not the lone player that we have. But anyway, Luke McCowan and Oxley Chamberlain in the midfield, along with Rio Hitati. Will Rio Hitati get any game time between now and the end of the season? That's an interesting one. Rio has went missing. Have we played better without Rio Hitati? A lot of people say that we played better without Callum McGregor. Rio Hitati seems to slow the game down a bit. Do you think that we played better without Rio Hitati in the game? Tell me that one in the comments. Where is Bollock Wisher? Martin O'Neill says that he will not get a game as long as he's the manager at Celtic. He doesn't rate him at all. Martin O'Neill doesn't rate him, so he's not going to be on the bench if Martin O'Neill doesn't rate him, especially when you've got Tenexti on the bench. Doesn't mean that we're a bit light, but you can play Luke McCowan on one wing, so you can understand why Luke McCowan's there. He can play as a midfielder and sort of out there on the wing. Martin O'Neill said that. He said he played him out of position on the wing, but he can play there nonetheless. But young Dane Murray and his backup defenders, it shows you how bad that we are in the defence still, because if Cameron Carter-Vickers was 100% fit, if he was just fit, we were kidding ourselves here. If Cameron Carter-Vickers was just fit like Cammy, Fit like Cammy, you again. I'm in again, son. Jamesy Forrest, long in. There was a fantastic picture that I seen of Jamesy Forrest, and it was him as an old man, and then he got a new contract again. Still there. Just a new contract for Jamesy Forrest, 2060 or something, it said. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Oxley Chamberlain, he can come on and make a difference. I think Oxley Chamberlain will come on for Callum McGregor. I still think that Celtic will manage the time of Callum McGregor. There could be a complete change in midfield this week. We could bring on all three midfield players. But I think that the changes that will be made will be Iniacho will come on later in the game for Dyes and Maeda to go out on the wing and James Forrest come off. I think one of the other changes late on into the game will be Alistair Johnston to the fantastic roar of Celtic Park when Alistair Johnston steps back onto the pitch. And it's just a shame that our little Mexican isn't here to see out the season. Yes, Julian Araujo, he has headed back to Mexico to get some treatment to try and get fit for the World Cup. He's away back to get worked on from the national team and their fitness gurus, try and get him fit. Anyway, he's not at Celtic, and will he ever be back at Celtic? Stephen says it's a bad move by Celtic. McCowan on a new contract. Arms until 2020. Arms until 2030. McGregor, if you don't win the league, captain, is off with Brendan. Luke McCowan was only given a 2-year extension till 2028. We had to give him an extension because there's no other Scottish players that are coming through that are good enough to slip into the Celtic team. Do you know, people saying it's a bad move. Go and find another Scottish player that you can get for a couple of million and make this team better. You know, they aren't there. You know, it's trying to get them to integrate into the team, trying to get them to understand what it means to play for Celtic. You could bring in other Scottish players to the team. They might not be Celtic through and through. They'll just see it as a job and be like, I don't care if I fucking win or not. But I think it's a bit crazy saying it was a bad move. I can understand why the club did it, but a lot of people think it was a bad idea. I think Martin O'Neill's picking informed players and other with more legs. Yeah, it could be. Forrest to win it on the last day against Hearts. It's written in the stars. It is, isn't it? Jamesy Forrest does a Harold Bratback for us on the last day of the season. Comes in for the wing. Although Harold Bratback, when he did it, he came racing from the midfield, heading towards the goal, and slips the ball in the back of the net. Jamesy Forrest will get the ball at wing. He'll snip inside the way that he does. Defenders will clamber to try and get in front of him. He'll flick it to his left and then just go boomf in the back of the net, body leaning forward, not leaning back, hitting it absolutely perfect into the roof of the net, and that's the goal that wins us the league title. Put your bets on now. Hatate brings more to the midfield than Engels. Does he? Really? I don't think so, Craig. It is all about opinions, mate, and I appreciate your opinion. Thanks for your comment. But I don't think it is. Hatate goes missing in games, and that type of thing doesn't sit well with Martin O'Neill. Do you know the moments when Hatate loses the ball, when he goes and he's out of game focus for around about 10 seconds. And as a manager sitting at the side of the pitch, you're watching this happen and you're looking at it. As fans, you're doing the exact same. And you're watching him lose focus. Don't know, his mind's nowhere near what's going on in the game. You do not want that in a player at this stage of the season. You want a player that when he loses the ball, he's fucking raging. And he sprints as far back as he gets to try and get to win the ball back. Or he moves into another position to stop another player getting the pass from the player that's just took the ball for you. Rio Hatate doesn't do that. You know, Rio Hatate's got a couple of good passes on him in a game. But when you look at the bigger picture, you can understand why Martin O'Neill has dropped him from the team. You know, when you look at the in play scenarios, I would certainly drop him. But Craig thinks that Hatate brings more to the midfield than Arnie Engels. Arnie Engels has got his stuff that he do, but let's face it, he'll be away for 20. If Rio Hatate was that good, why was there not a 20 to 25 million pound offer ever to come into Celtic? But there was for Arnie Engels. That kind of puts that to bed, doesn't it? Because clubs do not rate Rio Hatate. It has to be the only answer. You know, that if there hasn't been the type of bid that there has been for Arnie Engels, other clubs will see similar to what some of the Celtic fans. I like that front line. 90 minutes is too long for Nacho. That's Kieran says that, and Martin O'Neill said that. Let Maeda tire them out first. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Hope we can get a great performance. Plenty of goals would be fantastic. Here's hoping. Well, let's hope it's a better performance. Let's hope it's the kind of quick performance that we got off to in the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden. And let's hope for a quick goal as well. Let's hope for a couple of quick goals to settle the fans down and get the atmosphere going. You know, because I think if the longer that goes on into the game, I mean, the fans will be on, the atmosphere will be electric when the team come out today. But if the fans feel with after 10, 15 minutes that this team are kind of just like, well, we're doing our part, these fuckers aren't turning up again. These people, these players, this shower of charlatans is not turning up again. Why should we? And then they start to sit down, and then the grumbles start, and then this team can't handle it. That's the one thing that we've noticed about this team at Celtic Park. It is a bunch of players that cannot handle the fans, that don't know how to get the fans back on side. The anticipation, the fear that comes from the stadium rubs off onto these players. They're not big enough and man enough to handle that kind of situation. It's where we've had players before that knew how to, right, come on, let's get this up, let's get the crowd up, let's get this game going so that we can get the team behind us. Let's get the ball moving forward faster. But it doesn't. We end up passing the ball back and back and back and side to side. And that's what frustrates the fans. Completely frustrates the fans. But let's hope we can get a good performance in this afternoon. AJ on the bench. Hopefully he can get a wee bit of game time. Hopefully so. CCV and fit don't go in the same sentence. But, well, they do if you had an Aberdonian in the team. If we had an Aberdonian, it's probably the only time that you would hear fit and Cameron Carter-Vickers go in the same sentence, because it'd be fit like Cammy, fit like, I'm fucking injured again, mate. I'm sorry, I'm injured again. Fit like the day, Cammy. I'm fine. Ay. Anyway, maybe Martin O'Neill only likes mashed patate. Baz, what do you make of Martin O'Neill's comments on McGregor? It was quite true, isn't it? Well, Martin O'Neill saying, is that what he said? Did he really say that? He's putting demands on the club. I'd like to see that under my time. Could you imagine me turning around to Brian Clough and putting demands on to him and the hierarchy at Nottingham Forest at the time? And then Martin O'Neill says, young man, you do know who Brian Clough is, don't you? He was a rather good manager. And Martin O'Neill was a rather good player, has to be said. But you can understand where Martin's coming from. He's an old school manager. And it's, well, here's the thing. Should he be reprimanded? Because if Brendan Rodgers, how many players went onto social media? Now here's an honest take on the situation. How many players that went onto social media and had a little bit of a moan on social media, and then were swiftly removed from the Celtic team, and some of them were quite swiftly sold, to be honest. should Callum McGregor be any different as Celtic captain, or should he be listened to because he is one of us? He's came through the system. He's calling out the board for filling in the midfield with inadequate players that are way below the standard that he is used to as a player. You know, if you think about all the great players that he's played with over his years at Celtic in midfield, players that were keeping him out of the team and everything, you've got to think to yourself, maybe he's got a point. But for Martin O'Neill to say, well, I need to have a word with him, he can't be coming out and making demands on the club. He might be the captain, right? He's a player, but he's only a player. He is only a player. There's another way to look at it. Martin O'Neill's a yes man for Dermot Desmond. And that's more likely the truth. You know, Martin O'Neill's just a yes man for Dermot Desmond. And they have disregard for the players and fans alike. They don't like any of us, do they? They don't like the players. They don't like the players. They're Honda Civics. They don't like the fans. We're just reprobates that should just open their bank accounts to them and have free dibs. Oh wait, Celtic do that already when you're on the home ticket cup scheme. They sort of send you an email and say, oh, by the way, we're taking money out on this date, and this date. And you're like, what the fuck? But anyway, it's just the way Celtic are this season, mate, isn't it? I'd like to see Sriracha on the left wing. On the left wing with yeah, you could do, but I think he's better. Donovan's injured, mate. He's injured. Oh, he got injured with Scotland, didn't he? Is he still injured? Surely not. He's still injured. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to jump to the end of the comments. Apologise. The stream works here in Africa. That's good to know. Irishman in Porto that's not in Porto today is in Africa. What are you doing in Africa today? What football are you filming in Africa? Tell us in the comments, mate. Just to make us jealous this afternoon. Onion bears are with the balaclava garbage. Sriracha's got good delivery. That's Michelle there. Johnny Kenny, 9 goals out of 15 games for Bolton, 5 out of 23 for Celtic. There you go. Maybe Bolton's his level. But he wasn't. See, you can put stats out like that, right? And it makes him look good at Bolton and bad at Celtic. He's not playing as a number one striker at Bolton. He's not the target man. He's playing behind the striker, I believe. He was playing as the main striker at Celtic. You know, there's not many strikers. I think that's a bit unfair, to be honest, because the front has been missing from Celtic all season. Just saying. Is there any vids of players getting off the bus to the fans? There will be on social media. I think, somewhere. Kenny needs an extension runs. Remains to be seen when he gets back after, I suppose. Lovely day, few pints, hopefully a good atmosphere. Yes. Hamstring injury to Donovan. So he's out for the end of the season. Was filming the Holy Father's visit to the... Well, that's not football, mate. That's so you were filming the Pope. Just say it as it is. That's unbelievable. You just change the game with every comment, don't you? You just change the level. Do you know? You take the average comment and you just go, look, that's not a comment. This is a drop the mic comment. I was filming the Pope in Equatorial Guinea. What were you doing this weekend? What have you been doing this week? It was filming the Pope. What have you been doing? It's quite irrelevant now, isn't it? Is it? Starmer's hiding in Africa. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's a bad injury, knee injury to COVID. But there you go. Sorry, I'm jumping through the end of the comments. Jumping up here, come on the hoops. Smelly Boys is jumping up here, come on the hoops. You'll not even be near the ground yet, will you, mate? Are you still at the Brazen Head, getting ready to go to the game? What time do you leave the Brazen Head? You're bound to be, yeah, you'll be getting ready to leave, won't you? Kenny's not available. Something to think about next season. Something to think about next season, yeah, is that. Um, Livingston against 10 men St Mirren. Aberdeen 1-0 up against St Mirren. Might get relegated. In the name of the Father. What time is it? Just under an hour ago till kick-off. Let me just see if this has changed as yet. Game after this. That's the later games. That league is way wrong. What is going on with that league table? There's what's up. What's going on with the league table? The league table. Dundee United are at the top. The league table is wrong. Just when you think you're getting things sorted, and it comes out with a crazy one. Anyway, there's other games going on today. There is St Mirren are getting beat by Livingston. That puts the Celtic result into perspective. Not, wow, that's a massive one, isn't it? That is a big one. Livingston getting a late result. Unbelievable, considering it's not going to help Livingston at all, really, is it? I mean, Livingston are still way down rooted to the bottom of the table on 19 points. All that it will do is drag St Mirren into a relegation possible battle. Anyway, captain wants the title or he's off. Yeah. Does anyone know if this is totally an irrelevant question, but I've been trying to do some digging. Does anyone know? You've just left me. Melee boy, you'll know this one. Is Paul Lawwell related to Peter Lawwell? Yes, I'm doing a watch along, mate. Just a question for you, Melee boy, because you're quite close to the ground with that kind of stuff. Is Peter Lawwell, does he have another sibling that we don't know about called Paul Lawwell? I'm just trying to see if there's any connection with a certain podcast that is owned by Paul Lawwell. Madness. Livingston are 2-0. Oof, Livingston 2-0. Have they scored? Has Livingston just scored? Let's just update that. It's not telling me that there. Yep, Livingston have just scored. There you go. Said it on the radio. Yeah, it's just popped up on the screen here. 2-0 Livingston. That's embarrassing for St Mirren, isn't it? After doing so well against Celtic for much of the game. And taking... I mean, what does that say for us? Twin brother Baza. Is it? Are you serious? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Irishman in Porto has just put it up on the screen in the chat. No way. No way. Those pesky lot, aren't they? Unbelievable. This is why I'm glad I'm a solely independent YouTube channel. Unbelievable. That's just that's kind of made my that's a bit of a laugh now. Actually, we just need Falkirk keeper to be old enough to buy a pint, and then we can get those 6 goals. Ay, ay, ay. Let me jump back to this. Is it sorted this? Yeah, let me just see. Yeah, sorry if I want to investigate. Let me just try and update this widget. Edit that, update, save, just see if it does that with the team. It doesn't really need the league table on it today anyway. Just the lineup. Sorry, I'm talking to an editor. It's a bonker season, Baz. It is. It's a complete bonker season. What channel, Baz? What channel's what? People sussed onto Open Goal because they were very pro Lawwell. There we go. The Lawwells run Scottish football. It explains everything. Honestly, it does. It explains everything about that podcast now. Honest to God, man. Jesus. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. It's Pistol Peter's a gangster. Yes, that's it. Right. Yes, the league table's still crazy bonkers. Let me change that to the right part so there's no right for it. No, it's still there. Refresh in 2 minutes. Two seconds. Can we just have the game stats? Are you listening? Or okay. See if that will change. And the head-to-head. We don't need the head-to-head either. Just the game stats. Cheers, mate. The podcast channel. Ramos? What are you talking about? Supposedly Bain's injured, so first choice keeper. Goosebumps. Still, Livingston are winning 2-0 against St Mirren. I don't know if I'm not sure if that's a good thing or if it, don't know. Does it show how bad Celtic are? That we got to the end of the 90 minutes and it was 2-2. And then you've got Livingston beating St Mirren. Do you know what I mean? At St Mirren as well. It'll be interesting to see how many St Mirren fans are actually at their game today. But there you go. Livingston are winning away from home. I've got McGregor to score outside the box today, says Dr. Pepper Machine. That's an interesting one. McGregor, I think that should be a possibility. Aberdeen, they scored their goal early on in their game. They scored it in about 5 minutes or something, didn't they? And they're still winning 1-0 versus Kilmarnock, which is always good. The timeline. Yeah, it was 1-0 at half time. Stats, it's not giving me the time. The split has done Google no good whatsoever, because it just can't keep hope of the time. The Open Goal, I think the podcast are. Yes, it's the Open Goal podcast. I've said it. Don't like calling it other podcasts, but it's owned by the Lawwells. Oomph. There we go. The Open Goal podcast isn't opened by. He's only Ferry's only a presenter. I'm sad at that actually. I was really sad at it, but anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? It's owned by. It's another Lawwell owned firm. Unbelievable. Hail, the Celts are here. Some teams just try harder against us to prove a point. It's annoying as hell. Yeah, they do, but it is what it is. Right, we have just over about 45 minutes. Don't watch it. Nah, I watched it now and again. And I was like, I was trying to, from a podcast point of view, you try to work out connections and everything and how people are doing stuff. And Cy Ferry wasn't a great player. And he was shite at Celtic. I mean, he never done nothing at Celtic. And I was trying to get the connection there, but it's but anyway. St Mirren probably lost confidence after we took 4 goals off them in 6 minutes. Say as Johnny Kenny should be still at Celtic. He was playing a team. He was playing in the poor when the team was poor. He'll come back in the summer, and hopefully Johnny Kenny will have that swagger about him. I mean, like I said, when he came back from being in Ireland, he'd grown up. You've got to remember, when he came to Celtic, he was a wee skinny lad. You know, when you look at the pictures of Johnny Kenny when he first signed for Celtic, you're looking at him and you're thinking, he's too thin. He doesn't look as if he's going to be a Celtic player. You know, he looks smaller than Mark Burchill when Mark Burchill comes through. And you're thinking, this wee skinny lad's not going to do it. And then he went out on loan. He beefed himself up a bit and got a little bit of physicality about his game. And you've got to say he was a vastly improved player. I think he's still got a lot of learning to give from his young age, but I think that we'll just wait and see. I do like Big Charlie McGrew's podcast. The man's a comedian. It'll be interesting to know if he owns that. That's all that I'm saying. Because Charlie Mulgrew is right in with Lawwell's, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's an offshoot of the Lawwell Enterprises. Don't shoot me, but I'm just saying. Does anybody watch the warm-up? Nah. Because it's sponsored by the league. So it's I'm all for independent media, mate. Here's a question. Who would you rather have, Kenny or Osmond? Both of them. Both of them. I think that there should always be room at Celtic for 2 young strikers to be coming through and putting pressure on. Should always be room. And I think that Celtic as a team, I hope that we bring in a manager that tries to go back to a formation where you have 2 strikers. And especially in Scotland. We have teams that play formations in Scotland that are very negative and very anti-football, and having only the one striker in the box. People will say, well, it worked okay for Kyogo. How many of Kyogo goals was on the run? Do you know how many of Celtic goals was on an attack? Teams now are playing completely different football and going to a back 5, back 6, back 7. So having only the one striker in there, for me, is putting us at a disadvantage. If you've got 2 strikers in there, it gives you a little bit of a better chance. You know, 2 6-yard box players. That's what we need. But anyway, it's all about opinions. If he does come back, I hope to fake he's not as a number 1 striker. No, he's not. He's not number 1 striker. He's not a number 1 striker. I think the way that he's playing down south at the moment, where he's playing behind the striker, I think that looks his better position. Wee Osman looks the player. He does that. He does have cheekbones and a wing mirrors, Mulgrew. Sutton was on the leaner side, but he was tall, and that gave him the strength needed. He had the physicality. You know, he was lean, but I mean, I've stood next to him and John Hartson, and do you know, I mean, John Hartson's about 6'1" or something. I don't know. I mean, I looks like a tiny wee guy next to the 2 of them. You know, it was madness getting my picture taken in between the 2 of them. But it's when you see the size of them, you're thinking, fuck me, they must have been something else to play against. Don't know. But anyway, we digress. Sutton was on the leaner side. Yes, it was that. Kenny's a number 10, not a number 9. Yeah, right. Spot on Basman, says Malcolm. Afternoon, folks. Just win today, says Flying Column. Where you been, man? I'll see you. Jim Farry will hold Kenny's cross-border loan to be held up. Or whoever today's equivalent is. Mulgrew on Danny Roll's heath carpet was hilarious. I'm not saying that. 3-5-2, definitely. I think that Celtic should be playing 3-5-2. Here's a question for you, Baz. What do you think about the Michael Stewart saga? I think Michael Stewart is a professional that speaks his mind, and it's just a shame that the SFA and the the SFA have not got the balls to deal with that type of thing, and he should be allowed back into the National Stadium. If you're going to ban the likes of people for having freedom of speech, and this is what this platform is great for, and this is why I fully back independent YouTube channels, because independent YouTube channels, they don't get financed the way that, you know, Ferry's getting paid. He's getting paid a job to, and there's the team just came up. Perfect. He's getting paid to do the Open Goal podcast. It's not his podcast. He doesn't own it. You know, he's just, it's a wee gig for him. He's getting money thrown at him for it. When you football player that's now a commentator getting told that he cannot go to a national stadium because of his comments, it makes you wonder what's really going on in the hierarchy of Scottish football. You know, and if you've got these owned football podcasts by media companies that are owned by the people that we're fighting against, what does it say for the game? Where's the honesty in the game? Now, I get a lot of stick on this podcast because people say I'm talking shit and I don't know what I'm talking about and all the rest of it. That's fine. I'm not a professional, and I know that I'm not a professional, and I'm proud that I'm not a professional. I know that I've went through the trenches and I've been doing this. This channel's been on the go since 2010. You know, and it's not going away anywhere soon. But then when you've got these companies come in, limited companies that come in and finance podcasts on YouTube. YouTube as a platform is changing, and we could go down a rabbit hole here, but it's, anyway, that's the Michael Stewart saga. Pre-match barbecue was a great idea. Just need the hoops to win now. Martin O'Neill interview out on Twitter. Oh, that's Celtic getting up above themselves. Let me just grab that. It's not like them to put an interview out on Twitter. There we go. Let's listen in to Martin O'Neill.
Scottish Cup final. Would it be fair to say today might be the start of 6 cup finals for you?
Yeah, you can put it like that. Absolutely right. We've got last week was great. It's now gone, but we get confidence from scoring a number of goals in quick succession. Something that the side has lacked, throughout the season. And here, but this is a big game today for us. We know this, and we're just get as prepared as possible for it.
There was a spell in the match last week, and that extra time period where it looked like it played without fear almost. How do you manage to transfer that into 90 minutes from the off?
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point you make. I think this is exactly right. For the fact that there's definitely tension around about the place. Our situation this particular season is totally different to the last number of years. Here we've a real fight in our hands. We've been playing catch up, and I think you just have to, throw caution to the wind in many aspects. We've got to go and try and create some chances here today. We've got to, if we create them, then we've got to take our chances as well. So I think last week gives us plenty of confidence to go into this game today.
Last week, Dyes and Maida and James Forrest both proved difference makers in different ways. Has that influenced your decision to both of them today?
Well, I think Dyes.
Whoa, what happened there?
Cup final, would it be fair?
We've been playing ability to close players down. It's fantastic. The first goal that we get after about a minute in the game, only he could have done that. And James has deserved, I think, a chance to start a game. He's come on, he's made big impacts in matches for us. He's been a game changer in recent games, and that's been great news. So he starts today. Let's see how it goes.
Best of luck today,
Thank you.
Good luck today, Martin. And what was the result of the poll? The result of the poll question was: Should we ditch the SPFL split? 67% said yes, 33% said no. So far, that's interesting. Yeah, just a little bit, mate. Right, that's me done and dusted for this one. Audio robotic. Yeah, it's just going to jump through some of this. 3 points is all that matters. Aberdeen beat Kelly. Let's get those full-time scores on the doors. Live. Is it still playing? Full-time today. Aberdeen 1, Kilmarnock 0. And the other SPFL score is still playing. St Mirren are 9 minutes, and St Mirren like their extra time, don't they? 98 minutes on the clock, it's telling me. They've got 9 minutes into extra. Where did 9 minutes come from? Come on, they're getting beat. The Onion's chairs have hacked the channel. Have they? Oh, well, it's all right. Is there none of the I have to leave them to it. At least they've subscribed to the channel. Anyway, that is me done and dusted. You sound like a broken speaker. Yeah, I know, that's me done and dusted for the day. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.